Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 9th of December and let's start with the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion for today. Guys, in this particular session, we take entire analysis of Hindu. We'll take all articles along with the background as well as way forward. And also you can download explainer notes of this entire session from Telegram channel. Link for our Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, let's take overview of entire newspaper so that you can understand that which articles are important with respect to the examination. Now, here we have Delhi edition of Hindu newspaper, and on first page, the article that we have is this: Maua expelled from Lok Sabha, opposition MPs walkout. So guys, just a day before yesterday, there was a full page article. There was actually a very big article that came in text and context with respect to this issue. Also guys, I have made a dedicated video on this entire incident. If you have not followed it, please watch that particular video. It is not a very long video, a short video where we have discussed this entire incident, ethics committee's mandate, why the ethics committee is important to ensure the parliamentary democracy, parliamentary integrity, and all such kind of things. Just to give you a little bit of a context, MP Mahua Moitra, she was basically, there were the allegations that was made that she has taken money to ask certain questions in the parliament. Okay. And that particular matter was then investigated by ethics committee, and ethics committee recommended that she should be expelled, and now she has been expelled from house. Okay. So I will recommend you that please watch the video that has been there on this particular topic, already we discussed. However, if you're following it, no need to go too much in that. RBI keeps repo rate at 6.5%. So guys, monetary policy committee has given its review. So when we talk about the repo rate is simply a rate at which Reserve Bank of India lends money to the commercial banks. Okay, and keeping in mind the inflation in the country, repo rate is changed. If inflation, so keeping in mind the repo rate is changed. Now guys, when we talk about the present situation, we have seen that inflation earlier has been a very big problem, but now according to the Reserve Bank of India, inflationary trends, okay, they are coming little bit in the control. So repo rate has been kept as unchanged 6.5%. Okay. Now, here you can see the graph also of the repo rate, fine, how it has moved. Then further moving on in this particular direction, Hadia's father moves Kerala High Court to find missing daughter. Supreme Court issues notice to Delhi LG on plea seeking funds for scheme to help accident victims. Okay. Then guys, in city section, we have these largely advertisements, tenders and regional issues that we have. Okay. We don't have much relevant articles here with respect to our UPSC examination. Okay, so largely such kind of things are filled. So we will be skipping this particular section and will reach directly to editorial section. Now in editorial, first article that we have is India's alarming fixed dose combination problem. We'll see this entire article with respect to GS paper number 3, health and related issues. Fine. Then here we have article India can do without politicians exaggerating a north-south polarization. So basically the remark on North Indian states have been made by fine DMK member. Now guys, basically here it is showing that article that how the north versus south divide card has been utilized by the different political parties. Then below we have this article, bridge this deficit between India and Sri Lanka. Good article, which talks about low hanging fruits between India and Sri Lanka. We'll take this article. Then an IC warning. Now this article talks about recent report released by WMO with respect to thinning of glaciers. We have discussed it earlier. Today also we'll take this particular article for GS paper number 3, environment. Then further we have this ground zero article, a city under water. So guys, recently we have seen that cyclone Michum, fine, it made a landfall, okay, in Chennai. Okay, so basically when we talk about guys this ground zero article, here they track personal stories of a people who have met a crisis. Okay, now for exam point of view, academic substance has not been there. It is telling that which area was flooded, how much meters of water was there, and personal stories of the people are being told. Okay, so that is not important for exam. Okay, however, personal interest if you have, you can read it. One thing. Secondly guys, 2 days back I have taken one article with respect to naming of cyclones, that how cyclones are named. Okay, that is we have discussed. Now certain such kind of dimensions are being asked in UPSC examinations also. Then further moving on in this direction, fine. Uh, Here we have largely the political articles. Okay, nothing much important is there. However, this article, new climate draft seeks tripling of renewable energy capacity, will take this article for our GS paper number 3. It is in context of COP28 that is right now going on in Dubai. So what this new draft on GST is talking about, we'll discuss that entire issue. Okay, now guys, understand this particular thing that I have told you many number of times, that every political development, political statement, okay, all these things are not important, but if academic undertone is there in some article, that is important. Okay, then further moving on, Mahua Moitra strikes a defiant note, says her fight will not stop. Mamta backs expelled MP. Okay, then guys, further moving on in this particular capacity. Okay, center bans onion export, fine till March. Okay, it is largely to tame the pricings of the price of the onion. Now moving on in this particular capacity, guys, further on world page we have uh, okay, so on world page we have the articles with respect to the Israel Hamas issue that is going on, Putin to seek another term as president. Okay, now here we have one article, US FDA approves pair of gene therapies for sickle cell disease. We'll take this particular article for examination. RBI enhances UPI payment limit to set rules for online loan aggregators. We'll take this particular article also for examination. Then after that, India to move to same day settlement before March 31. Okay, fine. Tech startup funding falls by 72%. Fine. GQG Partners Board, GMR, SoftBank sells 1% in Zomato, corporate trends, etc. Not very much important for examination. Then guys, we have the sports section. Okay. Now today is Saturday, and on Saturday there are two important sections of the newspaper they are missing. First is text and context, which usually contains 3 articles, and most usually out of 2 articles or sometimes 3 articles are important. So text and context is not published on Saturday. Second, science page also is not published on Saturday. So these 2 sections are not there in today's paper. So this is guys the overview of entire newspaper, and now let's discuss all relevant articles one by one in detail. And as I told you, you can download synoptic notes. So here we have the notes. So guys, every class we take we take a GS quotation which can be used to complement your answers. And today we'll take quotation from Mahatma Gandhi ji. So Gandhi ji says there is a higher court than court of justice. Higher court than a court of justice, court of law. And that is the court of conscience. It supersedes all other courts. It supersedes all other courts. So a court of justice, a court of law, which just which just sees what is right, what is wrong under the lens of law. That is that court. Basically, that particular court has certain limitations, because it cannot investigate the matters under ethicality and morality. Your court of conscience means your internal voice of conscience, which tells you right and wrong. It can see the actions under the lens of the ethicality and morality, and this inner court is a higher court. This inner court has to be given more importance, and first, before doing right and wrong, you should ask internally that whether this thing is morally and ethically justified or not. Okay, so you can use this particular quotation for GS paper number 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. Okay, now guys, when we discuss these particular quotations, there is a particular reason of this quotation. It is not to just give you some daily intellectual boost, but these quotations I expect you are organizing and you are collecting very carefully and will use in your papers. Okay, now moving on, and let's take the first article. But guys, if you have not enrolled till now, okay, now day after, on Monday, that is 11th of December, we are starting with our power play prelims test series. So if you have not enrolled up till now, this is the best time to enroll it. In this particular test series, we are offering just simple and straight solution. That is, we are offering you a kind of a roadmap for next 5 months with respect to your prelims preparation. Okay, there will be dedicated, the entire syllabus will be divided in certain chunks. You are expected to prepare those particular chapters which we have given in syllabus, and after you prepare those chapters, there will be 50 mark, there will be the questions that will be asked. First, there will be the sectional test, and after that, there will be the full length test and comprehensive test will be there. In total, there will be 70 plus tests, which will cover both GS as well as CSAT. Okay, I will put in the comments, the pinned comment I will put, where I will put the link of test schedule. Also, if you wish to enroll right now, you can enroll at the subsidized price of 999 plus taxes. Okay, for first 500 enrollments it is there, and there will be dedicated test on budget, economic survey, current affairs, and the quality of questions strictly matches the UPSC standards. And for that, one demo module also we have given. You can just join that demo free of cost. It has 15 questions and you can see the quality of questions. Okay, so you can register by scanning this QR code, or you can simply visit our website www.sahilsaini.net and you can register in this particular course. Okay, now moving on, and first article that we are going to take today is new climate draft seeks tripling of renewable energy capacity. Okay, GS paper number 3 environment will take this particular article. Now, so basically guys, first of all, let me tell you some basic background, and if you are following regularly, you might be knowing it already also. Okay, so right now, Conference of Parties COP28 is going on in Dubai. This particular meeting is an annual meeting of countries who have joined UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So UNFCCC is a flagship meeting of the world countries where they meet and they discuss that how we should stop the carbon emissions, how we should limit the temperature rise that is happening. Okay, so this year they are meeting in Dubai, and this is the Conference of Parties number 28. Now, in this particular meeting, one important item that was to be discussed was GST, global stock take. GST, global stock take. What is this global stock take? In very simple words, they are assessing that, see, in Paris, okay, I have told you it many number of times. Okay, in Paris 2015, world countries agreed that we will ensure that temperature rise should not be above 2 degrees Celsius, and if possible temperature rise should not go above 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial level. Temperature rise should not be 2 degree, and if possible 1.5 degree. So every country has to do something. They have taken this target. Now in this global stock take, countries will assess that whatever they have done in past 8 years, will that particular thing be sufficient enough to reach these goals or not? If it is sufficient, fine, continue. But if it is not sufficient, we need to revise our targets. We need to revise our INDCs. We need to take more ambitious goals. So this global stock take is going on. And guys, it is not a surprise. Many reports have already come, including IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, 6th assessment report, which openly have said that the world is not on path to reach this particular goal. World is not on a path. Okay, so we need to do more. And as a part of this global stock take exercise, it has been now suggested that certain things is needed to be done. Number one, tripling of renewable energy capacity. Phasing out coal and other fossil fuels. Phasing out means completely you need to let go of the coal. Okay, so these particular things have come out. Now the latest draft of the global stock take, which has been approved by the countries, they are putting these particular conditionalities on the countries. What conditionalities they are putting? Number one, they are providing that today 80% of greenhouse gas emissions, they are because of fossil fuels. 80% of greenhouse gas emissions is because of the burning of the fossil fuels. And fossil fuels are needed to be reduced. Fossil fuels are to be phased so that global temperature does not rises beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2100. So fossil fuels are to be phased out. So energy companies should become fossil free by mid-century. Coal is to be phased out. Renewable energy capacity is to be tripled out. These things they are putting. Now, when we talk about India, guys, India already is doing excellent work in enhancing the renewable energy. And we have already taken that we will deploy 500 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. Okay, by 2030. But India has refused that we are not going to sign this pledge. We are not going to sign, or we are not going to agree with these particular things. Why India is not going to agree? India says that already we are doing sufficient and will do even more, but we are not going to take any obligation. We are not going to take any binding commitment. We are not going to take any binding commitment. Why India is not taking binding commitment? It is because of the principle of CBDR, common but differentiated responsibility. So the India and developing countries says that developed countries are the one who should take binding commitments and not us. So this is one that is going on. Moreover, guys, this word phase out. Okay, I told you 2 days back also that with this particular word phase out also, developing countries such as India, they have a problem. Now, what problem they have with this particular word? And guys, exactly same thing. We discussed. I told you 2 days back, and it is there also. So, in COP26 in Glasgow in 2021, the world countries, they actually agreed because of the appeal made by India and China that please don't use the word phase out with respect to fossil fuels. So word phase down was agreed. Phase down was agreed. Now see, phase down and phase out are two different terminologies. Phase down means reduce the amount of coal that you are using, and phase out means stop using the coal altogether. Now guys, if we talk about India, India is a developing country, and today, even today, more than 50% of electricity that India is manufacturing or developing, it is coming from coal sector. India has one of the largest reserves of coal, and coal provides us cheaper electricity energy. Also, we already has a large number of thermal power plants. So India cannot give away all that particular thing in just a go. So phase out is something which has not been approved by India, and they say that please use the word phase down. But now what is happening, COP28, they are not talking about phase down, but they are again talking about phase out. So it will become another dispute, it will become another bone of contention. Okay, so this is one thing. Then guys, also when we talk about this tripling of energy capacity, this particular thing also came out recently out of G20 summit that was hosted by India. But again, India says that we will enhance renewable energy, and the entire world knows that how good work India is doing, but India is not going to take any binding agreement. Also guys, what is happening, developing countries had put forward that there is a need, and rather it is an urgent need, to define climate finance. There is an urgent need to define climate finance. Now basically guys, let's understand little bit about this climate finance issue. So in 2009, world countries have agreed on this particular thing that $100 billion at least should be given by developed countries to developing country, so that developing countries can mitigate and can adapt with the climate change that is going to happen. Okay, so climate finance is to be given, and $100 billion per year has to come by 2020. Per $100 billion per year has to come by 2020. But there is one problem. Problem is that what will be counted under climate finance and what will not be counted under climate finance, that particular thing is problematic. Okay, now guys, see this particular thing. Suppose America, let's say this particular thing, uh, okay, suppose USA gave $100 million grant to India. USA gave $100 million grant to India. Okay, and this particular grant they have given so that people can buy the LPG gas connection, LPG, so that the people can buy LPG gas stoves. Okay, LPG gas cooking stoves people can buy. $100 million has been given by USA. Now, USA has given this particular money, and if women or if the people or the men or whoever is cooking the food, if they will use the clean energy, their health will be improved. Their health will be improved. They will not face respiratory diseases. But at the same time, also indirectly, it will contribute to environment also, because if they are not burning wood, if they are not burning cow dung, obviously smoke that is being emitted out, carbon that is being burned, it will also be reduced. Now, guys, what can America do? America can show this particular money that this is indirectly contributing to environment also. So therefore, they can call it as a climate finance. Now, let's say principally money was given for improving health. Principally, the money was given for improving health so that people don't burn wood, cow dung, and they don't consume these harmful fumes. So it was given for health. But now they are saying that it was for environment also, and they are justifying it as climate finance. So we need to have a very clear definition that what will come under climate finance and what will not come under climate finance. Are you getting it or not? So up till now, there is no clear definition of climate finance. And because of this particular thing, guys, often disputes emerge. For example, recently OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, they have estimated that in 2020, $83 billion have come from developed countries to developing countries. This is a climate finance. But according to Oxfam, they say that no, only $22 billion has come. So why $83 billion and $22 billion, $60 billion difference? It is because definition is not clear. And developing country says that what developed countries are doing, anything they are giving, even it is not remotely related to environment, they justify it as a climate finance. They justify it as a climate finance. Okay, let's take one example. Suppose in a household there are two members, will not impose any gender biasness here. Let's say there are the husband and wife, and one is working and one is looking forward for the domestic work. Let's say the one who is working, he or she, they are giving money to other person for expenditure. Now money they have given for household expenditure, they are justifying that it is also for your sustenance also. Okay, this money I have given, you take out money out of this only for your sustenance. Okay, so therefore just they are justifying one expenditure as the expenditure for sustenance and expenditure for household expenses. Okay, so this, there is a lot of haze, there is a lot of ambiguity. So therefore a clear definition is needed to be there. But developed countries up till now has not agreed, and this issue has come in this context also. So this is, guys, all about this. I hope that you have understood it. And now we'll move to next article, NIC warning. Okay, now this particular article we'll see with respect to GS paper number 3 environment, as well as GS paper number 1 geographical phenomena. Okay, now first of all, before going in this article, let me give you some basic context or background that will help you to understand. Few days back, we have discussed one article where we have discussed World Meteorological Organization's report with respect to thinning of glaciers around the world. Okay, and this particular thing is an alarm bell with respect to urgent efforts that are needed to reduce carbon emissions. Okay, so basically, what is the name of the report? Let's discuss that. So World Meteorological Organization, it has released the Global Climate 2011-2020 report. And in this particular report, they have said that in the year 2011 to 2020, approximately glaciers have shrinked by 1 meter every year. For these 10 years, every year, world's major glaciers, they have shrunk by 1 meter every year. Not 1 meter for 10 years, 1 meter in entire 10, no, 1 meter every year. Now, this is alarming. This is alarming. Moreover, guys, specifically to certain glaciers, it has made certain even more revealing and disturbing observations. So, Ravenzori Mountain, Mount Kenya, and Mount Kilimanjaro, their glaciers. Now, when we talk about Ravenzori is a mountain range on the borders of Uganda and DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. And when we talk about Kilimanjaro happens to be the highest peak of Africa. It is in Tanzania. So Kilimanjaro, Mount Kenya, Mountain Ravenzori, on these mountains also, because of their height, there are glaciers, and these glaciers will be completely be melt by 2040. They will be melt by 2040. Now, guys, as glaciers are melting rapidly, it is leading to multiple problems, and one of a problem that it is leading to, it is GLOF, glacial lake outburst floods. Glacial lake outburst floods. Now, guys, glacial lake outburst floods I have explained you earlier also, but for the sake of revision, I'll explain again. Okay, now see this particular thing. Okay, so I'll explain it again. Now, let's imagine this is one big glacier. Okay, now as water will melt from this particular glacier, what will happen? there will be natural lakes that will be formed. There will be the natural lakes that will be formed, and thousands of such lakes are already there in our Himalayas also. Okay, now water is getting deposited, and water slowly and gradually it is just being taken out from here by the help of certain streams that are there. Okay, this natural mechanism is there. Now sometimes, now what will happen, suppose there is some sudden rainfall that has come, or let's say cloud burst that has happened, or let's say temperature started to increase and glacier that was melting at a particular rate, this speed of melting glacier has increased. Now suddenly a lot of water will come in this particular lake, a lot of water will come in this particular lake, and this particular lake will breach. It has been bound by silt, sand, pebbles. Okay, these structures will fail, and what will happen, in minutes of time, millions and millions of water will flow out of this lake, and habitations that are there habitations that are there in the down reaches, habitations that are there, they will be destroyed. If there is some dam, that dam will be destroyed. Glacial lake outburst flood. This glacial lake outburst flood, now you go by the name glacial lake. This is a glacial lake. Outburst means it has failed, and because it has failed, a flood has come. Glacial lake outburst flood, GLOF. These GLOFs are becoming a very big concern, and they are becoming a big environmental hazard. And guys, if we talk about 2013 Uttarakhand flood, 2013 Uttarakhand flood, you might already be knowing about it. It was the glacial lake outburst flood event. Recently, guys, we have also discussed it also, that what happened recently in Sikkim, South Lonak Lake flooded. Now, this South Lonak Lake that flooded, this is nothing but a globe event. Okay, this was a glacial lake and it got flooded. Because of that, what happened? Chungthang Dam, okay, it got damaged, and also hundreds and thousands of people, they suffered because of this. Life and property also get damaged because of this glacial lake outburst flood. Okay, and around the world, these globe events are increasing because glacial ice is melting fast, and why it is melting fast? Because of the carbon emissions that we have given, which is leading to climate change. Okay, now guys, in this capacity, there is also one more report that has been given. Now guys, see this particular thing. One thing just I want to insist here. See, according to me, if you diligently read newspaper for 6 months, not I'm saying for 1 year or 2 year, only for 6 months you read the newspaper, you will have so many reports, so many datas, etc., for virtually every topic that is in there in your syllabus. GS2, GS3, GS1, anything you are talking about, you will have certain report, data, fact, Supreme Court judgment, some keyword to substantiate that particular thing. Okay, so my point is that when we are discussing, for example, today we are discussing the WMO report. Okay, there is one more report by the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, which also talking about the glacier melting. So guys, please use these datas and reports in your answers to complement your answers. It gives authenticity to your answer. So please do that. My point is that keep on revising and please compile these particular things. Okay, so this one more report that is by International Center for Integrated Mountain Development. This report has provided that in the Hindu Kush region, glaciers are disappearing at even more faster rate. So they say that disappearance of glaciers in the Hindu Kush Himalaya was 65% faster in 2010s than in the previous decades. Okay, so this is something that is happening. And guys, according to the estimates that have been given, so there will be 2.5 to 3 degrees Celsius temperature increase. There will be 2.5 to 3 degrees Celsius temperature increase by the end of century, by 2100. Okay, and it is further providing this particular thing that glaciers will decline from 55 to 75%. This is going to be a very big problem, and it will further incite more GLOF events. So guys, now time has come that we need to invest considerably in conservation as well as the forecasting also. Now I see this particular thing, that the same WMO report also said that though cyclonic activity also increased, but the number of lives lost, it has come down. Why? Because early warning systems that we have deployed, and today we have better early warning systems for almost all the natural hazards. We have a good early warning systems for cyclones, we have for tsunamis, okay, but we did not develop adequate early warning systems for GLOF events, glacial lake outburst flood events, okay. So there is a need to commission infrastructure so that we can predict these events more properly and can save the lives and property. So that is all about this particular article. Guys, I hope that you have understood it, okay. And guys, meanwhile, if you are enjoying the video, please hit the like button, and also please share the video with your friends who you think will get a help from this. Now, next article that we have is India's alarming fixed dose combination problem. Fixed dose combination problem. Okay, we'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to health. Issues related to health. Okay, now before going in this article, let me take some basic let me take some basic explanation, and then we'll go in this article. So guys, let me explain you what we are going to talk here. You might have heard about let's take example of combiflam. So I'm pretty sure that you might have consumed this particular medicine, or someone in your family might have consumed this particular medicine, combiflam. Now, when we have fever, we use this particular medication. Now, this medication is actually a fixed dose combination drug. Fixed dose combination drug. In this particular tablet, there are two salts that are used. Number one, ibuprofen, and number two is paracetamol. Ibuprofen and number two is paracetamol. Okay, these two salts are used here. Okay. Now guys, we have today so many of the fixed drug combination, we have so many of the fixed dose combination drugs. Now these particular drugs are used for the sake of convenience. Okay, why? Because guys, let's say that a particular person is suffering from some XYZ disease. And for that XYZ disease, let's say this particular person has to take 4 tablets. Okay, suppose a particular person has to take painkiller, but let's say the dosage of that painkiller is so heavy that a person might develop some gastric issues. So antacid also has to be taken. Let's say one more drug is to be taken. So this person has to take 3 medicines, three tablets. Taking this 3 tablet might be inconvenient. A person might forget one or might forget two. Okay. So what companies are doing? Companies will make one tablet. Companies will make one tablet, and then this one tablet, all these 3 salts will be put there. Okay. For the sake of better convenience. For the sake of better convenience, that you need not to take 3 drugs, you need to take only one tablet. So there are these fixed dose combination drugs that have become too much prevalent today. In certain areas, these fixed dose combination drugs have become very much efficient. They have shown increased efficacy also. For example, in AIDS, they have shown efficacy also. So first point is that I hope that you have understood that what these FDCs are. Because if you don't understand, then this entire article will be a little bit difficult for you to understand. And if you have understood that, this article is very easy. Okay. Again, I'll explain for the sake of better clarity. Fixed dose combination drugs. Okay. These drugs are combination. Just a minute. I will zoom it out so that it does not strain your eyes. Okay. So fixed dose combination drugs. Okay. So these are the combination of one or more known drugs and can be useful in the treatment of some disease, since the combination can improve patient compliance. What is compliance? Let's say a patient has to take 4 tablets, a person might forget to take one. So put all the 4 tablets salt in one tablet. So for the sake of better convenience, a patient takes it. Okay. Now, recently what has happened? Group of academicians from India, Qatar and UK, they have published a research paper. In the Journal of Pharmaceutical Policy and Practice. Okay. And in this particular paper, they have said this particular thing, that these FDCs, fixed dose combination drugs, sometimes they are particularly harmful. They are not tested for efficacy. Sometimes even the banned FDCs, they are being sold in the developing countries such as India. Okay. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about these fixed dose combination drugs, what you are doing, you are putting different salts together. Now these salts might interact or might react with each other, and this reaction sometimes might be fatal to human. For example, they might put undue strain on your kidney when consumed together. Let's say sometimes what happens, when two salts are put together, one neutralizes the other, so actually the efficiency reduces. Now for these particular things, safety trials, efficacy trials are needed to be done. But what is happening, approvals are to be taken, but what is happening, pharmaceutical companies are making FDC drugs, not taking any approval, and sometimes certain banned formulations are also being sold in the market. So according to this research paper that I have just talked, according to this particular research paper, they have analyzed the data from India, and they say that in the year 2020, 60.5% of FDCs, okay, of antibiotics, they were unapproved. Okay, they have not been approved by the drug regulator. And 9.9% of the FDC drugs that are being sold, they are being sold despite being banned in the country. Are you getting it or not? Now guys, particularly when we talk about the FDCs for antibiotics, they are a very big problem. Multiple antibiotics are being put together, okay, and often it leads to the antibacterial microbial resistance, which is a very big problem. Okay, now guys, question comes that why pharmaceutical companies are making these FDCs, why pharmaceutical companies are making these fixed dose combination drugs. So there are particular reasons for this. Reason number one that comes here is that, guys, see, in India, certain drugs or certain salts are heavily regulated in terms of pricing. For example, we have in India Drugs Prices Control Order, DPCO. For example, azithromycin cannot be sold beyond a particular price. Paracetamol cannot be sold beyond a particular price. So pharmaceutical companies, if they are selling just the paracetamol tablet, they cannot sell it beyond a particular price. Means their profit margins are always very much less. So deliberately, many number of times what companies are doing, companies will mix one other salt with some existing salt so that it does not comes under the mandate of drug pricing control order. Okay, so basically for individual drugs, the prices are fixed, but for fixed dose combination drugs, there is no price that is fixed. So therefore, it is an easy way to escape the DPCO, and it is an easy way to make more profit. Okay, like let's take this, guys. Paracetamol can be sold at a particular price, but with paracetamol, if you mix some other painkiller, for that there is no mention in DPCO, and that can be sold at double price also. This is one. Second thing, guys, that see, there are a particular standard in terms of quality that is to be maintained. But as these FDCs are not being regulated that much, so for quality also they can evade the accountability. Okay, and often doctors are also prescribing these FDCs. Now guys, there are twofold issue that comes. Number one, often these pharmaceutical companies, they give heavy commissions to doctors, one thing. Second is that many number of times doctors are also unaware. They think that these pharmaceutical companies are doing their due diligence, they are doing their safety trials, efficacy trials, but these pharmaceutical companies are not doing it. Okay, so this is the reason that these FDCs are being sold in the market. Now guys, when we talk about these FDC problem, first time it was brought to the radar in 1978. Okay, and in 1988, central government amended the rules to introduce a new requirement for drug manufacturer, that all the new drugs, including the FDCs, have to submit the proof of safety and efficacy to Drug Controller General of India, DCGI. Okay, this is, now see, this is on paper, that every drug manufacturer have to submit the proof of safety and proof of efficacy to DGCI, Drug Controller General of India. Okay, but what actually has happened? Compliance is not there. These amendments made clear that state drug controller cannot grant manufacturing licenses, and for existing drugs also the approval has to be taken. But state drug controllers have simply ignored the law and continue issuing manufacturing license to FDCs without properly seeing that safety trials, safety studies, efficacy studies have been done or not. So implementation of law has not happened. Also, guys, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, what they have done? They have used their powers under Section 26A, and they have prohibited certain FDCs from time to time. And as of today, 444 orders have been passed. Okay, but they are not banning all the FDCs. Specific FDCs they banned, that okay, this has been highlighted, we'll ban this. This has been highlighted, we ban this. So we need to have a more comprehensive and consolidated approach in this particular capacity. Okay. Now, moving on to next article. Okay. So again, this is also a very good article. Bridge this deficit between India and Sri Lanka. Now, this article will take with respect to GS paper number 2, India's neighborhood, and within neighborhood, India-Sri Lanka relation will take this article. India-Sri Lanka relation will take this article. Okay. Now, let's discuss this particular article. So basically, guys, what has happened recently? President of Sri Lanka has laid a proposal to establish the land connectivity with India. Also, many number of times it has been said that the Ram Setu bridge should be reinvented, which historically has served as a connectivity route between India and Sri Lanka. These proposals have come from time to time, and President of Sri Lanka again has proposed for land connectivity between Sri Lanka and Tamil Nadu, India. Okay. Now, guys, earlier also, 20 years ago also, fine, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, when he was the Prime Minister in Sri Lanka, he floated this particular argument at that time also, that is Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu needs to be linked with the Talaimanar in the northern province of Sri Lanka. Now I will show you it in map also. Okay. So guys, here we have Rameshwaram. Okay. Here we have Talaimanar. This is the northern province of Sri Lanka. So right now this particular route is connected by ferry. Right now this route is connected by ferry or boats. So there is an argument that a kind of a bridge is to be developed which will connect the Rameshwaram and Talaimanar, and this particular thing is not just going to be a connectivity project, but it will be aimed at bringing more opportunities for economic growth. Okay. Now, but actually what has happened up till now, this particular thing has not made any success or progress on the ground. There have been many groups in Sri Lanka, particularly representing the Sinhalese Buddhist interest, and they have said that this is going to be counterproductive for Sri Lankans and it will actually benefit India more. So therefore, they have resisted this particular thing and this has not executed on ground. However, recently Prime Minister of India and Sri Lankan President, they had announced that a viability study will be done to see that this land connectivity can be brought or not. So this is one low hanging fruit that needs to be leveraged. Okay. Now, there is one more low hanging fruit, that is the power grid. Now guys, understand this particular thing. See, we have a power trade agreement with multiple countries. For example, we have with Bangladesh, we have with Nepal. Okay. And guys, when we talk about the Sri Lanka also, the power trade agreement has been discussed, and it was discussed in 2010. But up till now, 2023 has come, 13 years have happened, but nothing much has happened onto the power trade front. So basically, in 1970s, we started discussing the electricity cooperation between India and Sri Lanka. And after this discussion in 2010, finally, power trade agreement or power cooperation agreement between India and Sri Lanka was signed. Actually, in 2010, we signed agreement with two countries, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. But guys, 13 years have happened, 13 years have lapsed since we signed the memorandum of understanding on bilateral grid. power trade agreement between India and Sri Lanka. But up till now, nothing has happened. Not even 1 unit of electricity has been transmitted between India and Sri Lanka. But on another hand, if we talk about Bangladesh, agreement with Bangladesh was also executed in 2010 and it was going at full swing. So 7,000 million units of 7,000 million units of electricity is being exported every year to Bangladesh. Okay, India is exporting 7,000 million units of electricity every year. Okay, moreover guys, recently what has happened, India and Prime Minister, they have also jointly commissioned recently Rampal Metri power project, which is 660 megawatt project, and we discussed it also in newspaper analysis also. Virtually these particular projects were launched. So for Bangladesh, with the Bangladesh, good cooperation is happening. Then guys, on the trade front, now when we talk about trade front, India and Sri Lanka, they are having a free trade agreement that was signed in 1998. But up till now, that particular trade front also has not been properly leveraged. Now guys, on certain fronts, India got certain benefit. And guys, today as we talk about India, okay, India is the largest source of imports for Sri Lanka. And 26% of imports that Sri Lanka is making, they are from India. So 26% of total Sri Lankan imports, they are coming from India. Fine. That is something that is happening. Okay. When we talk about the tourist, 17% of the arrivals in Sri Lanka of tourists, they are from India. Okay. But again, guys, it has been said that this is an underachievement. Okay. Here also more work is to be done, and recently some good initiatives have been taken also to further enhance the economic cooperation between India and Sri Lanka. And what are these cooperations? Number one, resumption of air service between Chennai and Jaffna. Passenger ferry service has been started between Nagapattinam and Kanke Santhurai. This also we have discussed I think 2 months back. Okay. Also guys, what is happening? National Dairy Development Board, the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, and Cargills of Sri Lanka, they have signed an agreement so that India can teach Sri Lanka how to achieve self-sufficiency in milk production. You already know white revolution of India, which make India as a self-sufficient nation in the milk and milk products. So with the Sri Lanka also we have signed this particular Sri Lanka, we will also be doing their knowledge transfer to them. So that is all guys about this particular article. Now, moving on to next article. Okay, before that, if there are some doubts, I will take it. By the way, first of all, very good morning to all of you. Hello sir, if possible, please make a video or else PDF at least regarding major issues and reports by organization with explanation. Okay, we'll try to do something for that. Sir, what type of questions coming from drug ratio? See, drug ratio, etc. question will not come because we are not preparing for some pharmaceutical examination. Okay. Questions largely can come from health sector in which this is a big issue. So this issue theme-based questions will be there. Not questions will be there with respect to the specific drug combination or what ratio drugs are mixed. Okay. US FDA approves pair of gene therapies for sickle cell disease. Again, this article will take for GS paper number 2 health. Okay. Sometimes health can have overlap with GS3 also, and for prelims also we'll take this particular article. Now, before going in this particular article, guys, first of all, you need to know about the sickle cell disease, because for sickle cell disease, this therapy has been approved by US FDA. Okay. Now, guys, see this particular thing. So here, if you see, we have the normal red blood cells. Which are circular in shape. We have red blood cells which are circular in shape. Okay. And they are responsible for carrying the oxygen to the different body organs. Okay. Now guys, sometimes what happens, there are the abnormal or sickled red blood cells like this. Okay, here you can see in this second photograph. Okay. Now guys, these sickle cells, they got coagulated, they get blocked into they get blocked into the into the veins, into the blood vessels. Okay, they get clogged here, and because of that particular thing, what happens, they are not able to carry oxygen to different parts of the body. Okay, so when we talk about the sickle cell, when we talk about the sickle cell disease, it is painful and inherited blood disease. Inherited blood disease means it is genetic, it is it is the inherited disease. Okay, often it can lead to premature death. Okay, what happens in the sickle cell disease, the body will make flawed sickle shaped hemoglobin, which impairs the ability of red blood cells to properly carry the oxygen to different body organs and tissues. Okay, so basically guys, as it is an inherited disease, means there seems to be a certain problem in DNA, there seems to be certain problem in the genes. So therefore gene therapies can be given, therefore gene therapies can be given, and two gene therapies have been approved by the US FDA. Now guys, one of the gene therapy that has been approved by the US FDA, it involves the use of the CRISPR-Cas9 technology. CRISPR-Cas9 technology. Now, when we talk about the CRISPR, when we talk about the CRISPR-Cas9, it is also referred to as a molecular scissor. Now, guys, let's take the example. This is your DNA. This is your DNA. Now, certain portion of your DNA is faulty. Certain portion of your DNA is faulty. Okay, what we can do, we can simply change this particular section of the DNA, the faulty structure or the faulty part of the DNA could be changed. Are you getting it or not? Could be changed. Okay, so incorrect base could be replaced with the corrected base, and once incorrect base will be replaced with the correct base, what will happen? Your body will make normal red blood cells as it makes in the other people. Or when, or what can be done? Okay, so basically Cas9, through the CRISPR technology, we can promote the production of a fetal hemoglobin, and this fetal hemoglobin, as we promote its production, it no longer blocks, or it no basically, because of this particular thing, sickling and the blocking of the blood vessels will not happen. So by using the CRISPR technology, okay, which is a type of a gene therapy, we can bring substantial respite to the people who are suffering with the sickle cell disease. So two of the gene therapies have been approved by the US FDA. Okay, that is Livegenia and Casgevy. Okay, fine. Also, one more thing, that guys, when we talk about the CRISPR gene therapy, it has also, this particular technology also won the Nobel Prize in 2020. Okay, now moving to the next article. RBI enhances UPay payment limits to set rules for online loan aggregators. Okay, so basically guys, these are the few changes that have come with respect to the UPI transaction limits. Okay, no need to go too much in detail in this, but little bit of idea you should have. So basically guys, for the payments for healthcare and education, UPI limit has been extended to 5 lakh rupees from existing 1 lakh rupees. Also guys, there are certain recurring e-payment mandates that you can issue from your credit card. For example, let's say I subscribe to Netflix service, and let's say I am paying 400 rupees for Netflix every month. Now guys, what can I do? I can set a mandate, means I can give the permission to Netflix that they can automatically deduct 400 rupees per month from my credit card. Or I can give, let's say, mandate to the mutual fund company that, okay, I want to, let's say, do a monthly SIP. Okay, I want to do a monthly SIP, monthly investment of 5,000 rupees. You directly deduce that from my account. So mandates can be given for certain recurring payments. Or let's say I need to pay my mobile bill, which comes, let's say, 500 rupees per month. I can give the mandate that, okay, every month you deduct it from my account. So basically for recurring payments, there was a limit of 15,000. It has been increased to 1 lakh rupees. It has been increased to 1 lakh rupees. Also, Reserve Bank of India has notified that they have to come out with the they need to come out with a regulation for the web aggregation of loan products. Web aggregation for loan products. Now guys, let's understand that what this particular thing is all about. Okay, See this particular thing, understand this thing. See, there are many companies or very many platforms are there. For example, Bank Bazaar, okay, Policy Bazaar, Bank Bazaar is there. Now that Bank Bazaar, what it does, it gives you offer that you have been qualified for 2 lakh rupees loan from HDFC, or you are eligible for 1 lakh rupee loan from ICICI. So what they are doing, these are platforms which show you different loan options that you have, or they are also sending you reminders that you can take loan from here. So these platforms are there which are showing you the loan options, or loan products are being shown to you. Now guys, it has been said that many number of times they are advertising those loans which might be, let's say there is a State Bank of India which also gives a loan. State Bank of India is giving the car loan at the rate of 8.6%. Okay, let's say there is some other private lender also who is also giving the loan, and that lender is giving loan at 10%. Okay, now State Bank of India, because it is offering the giving the good loan at a good rate, they need not to advertise that much. Let's say I want to buy the car and I don't have any idea that who gives the better rates. And now let's say Bank Bazaar is showing me ads again and again of that private lender who is giving me loan at actually 10%. Actually 10%. And I opt for that. Okay. So what I did, I made a bad financial decision simply because of the advertising tactics of that particular platform. So therefore it is needed that these particular web aggregators of the loan products, they are needed to be regulated so that they don't harm consumers' interest. Okay, so Reserve Bank of India governor is referring to the firms that aggregate loan offers from different lenders for customers to choose. Sometimes they are showcasing more prominently those particular loans who are advertising more, giving them more money, though they are expensive for customer. So therefore a regulatory framework is needed, and a fintech repository which will regulate this will be created by April 2024, and once it will come out, we will get more information about that. So as of now, this is the only information that we have. Okay, so that is all guys about this particular article. And now let's take the main practice question for today. So the question that we have is, what are the fixed dose combination drugs, how they are emerging as a silent healthcare challenge or silent health challenge? So GS paper number 2, health. GS paper number 2, health. Okay, so that is all guys about it. I hope that you have understood it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. Okay, so that is all guys for today. I hope you have understood it. And guys, now we'll be meeting on Monday. Sunday should be a day for your revision so that you revise entire week's current affairs. Okay, and I hope guys that you have liked the session, and if you have liked the session, please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe to our channel, and I read all of your lovely comments that you leave here. Thank you so much.